You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, we are going to go with take two of this latest Locked On Celtics postcast. Apologize for the technical difficulties resetting the show. You're right where you need to be with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, providing reaction to every Celtics game and providing reaction right now with you on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel as we talk about the Celtics getting off to a great start in the first quarter, did not trail in the fourth quarter, end up losing at home to the Cleveland Cavaliers. With our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're basically going to give up the Eastern Conference number one seed to Cleveland at this point in time. We're resetting. Apologize again for the technical difficulties. If you've chimed in with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button again, and we do appreciate your patience with us. This latest episode of the Locked On Celtics postcast brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 back in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. I don't know where the camera went. I'm better in podcast form, but here we are. Hopefully you don't give up on us. Back in it, join the conversation. Technical difficulties and a rough loss for the Celtics. Just a brutal loss, really. You're up 11-0. You're up 25-3 to start. You knock down 7 threes in the first quarter. You end up with, I think, 17 for the entire game. Cavaliers did not take their first lead as we recap this one until the fourth quarter. Game was tied at 100. Game was tied at 101. Evan Mobley knocked down a three. Cavaliers' first lead at 104-101. Now, the Celtics came back, scored 6 in a row, and tied the game up. And you thought, okay, you've got to take the lead back here. Did not happen. Didn't happen. Brown versus Garland hit on a 16-footer. Game tied at 114. Donovan Mitchell, just a Celtics killer. One of the top players in the NBA. Guy that I love to watch when he's not playing against the Celtics because he can just dominate a game. If he has a slow start to a quarter or to a game, not a problem. Still ended up with 41. And Mitchell, 1 of 3, 0 of 1, 3 points in the first quarter, and just took off and just went from there. Again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties at the jump, but we are back up and running. And, just not a great way to start a homestand, not a great way to start a weekend if you're a Celtics fan. The place was jumping. I was actually at a college basketball game. I should have been working a college well, I shouldn't say should have. I do Quinnipiac University basketball for ESPN Plus. The game was moved to ESPNU. Got to see old friend Pat O'Keefe do the game with Noah Savage on ESPNU. Saw Quinnipiac come back late in the second half to beat St. Peter's. Enough of that. I had Sean Grandy on. Didn't work inside the gym. So turned that off. And, hey, watching it with the play-by-play. Up 11-0. 7 threes in the first quarter. Now, with that, you knew Cleveland was going to come back. That's a given, right? It's the NBA. Everybody makes a run. That's as cliche as you can get. So as I'm home watching the fourth quarter, got home, start of the fourth quarter, Cleveland goes in front, game tied at 114. Tatum's having a great game. But he scored just 6 points in that fourth quarter. He had 30 at the half. Ends up with 46, 10 in the third, and just 6 points in the fourth quarter. And that's when Donovan Mitchell just said, you know what? Hold on to my adult beverage. Mitchell, 12 in the fourth quarter, and 26 total, 26 of his 41 in the second half. He was terrific, but he got a lot of help. Mobley, 17, knocked down a couple of threes. Both teams knocking down 17 threes, but Boston knocked down 7 in the first quarter. Mobley was solid. Jared Allen, another guy I like a lot, ended up with 10 points and just 4 rebounds. Got into some early foul trouble. But 20 for Darius Garland. DeAndre Hunter, Celtics seeing him in a Cleveland uniform for the first time up close. He was 4 of 6 from the field, knocked down 3 threes. He scored 12. And the bench, I mean, we'll get into numbers of the night. But come on. The bench, and that was in the first quarter. Cleveland's bench, it could have been a lot worse in that first quarter. Just want to get to my notes here. What was it at the half? Cleveland's bench, I think it was 28-3. Yeah, 28-3 advantage in the second quarter. Cleveland's bench to Boston's. There just wasn't a lot going on. Now, as I'm sort of putting my notes together, and I've got ESPN's post on, there's Perkins, there's Stephen A. Smith, and they're talking about no Kristaps Porzingis, no Drew Holiday. Hey, there's been a lot of games the Celtics have had this season where the opposing team has not had starters in the lineup. You can sort of gloss over that and say, okay, those two guys weren't in the starting lineup, but you led huge in the first quarter. You led throughout until the fourth quarter. And Cleveland just kept coming. 38 in the second, 31 in the third, and 28-18 they outscored the Celtics in the fourth quarter. The Celtics were held to just 18 points, 6 from Tatum in that fourth quarter, and the Celtics were 7 of 20. I know I'm giving a lot of numbers here. They were 7 of 20 from the field, 1 of 5 on the three-point line in that fourth quarter. I think you're sort of going into this weekend now and thinking, hey, Eastern Conference Finals potential to be a great series. That's when they would meet again. But right now, you've lost 2 in a row. You've lost to Detroit. You come home against the Cavaliers, you lose. And this is a 7-game homestand. You have not been the best, one of the top 2 or 3 home teams in the NBA this year. You're looking at this right now saying, that stretch where it was, win one, lose one, win, there's some losses in there. December into January. And still, 60 games in, 22 to go. But right now, you're thinking, Cleveland, it's not going to be a runaway. The Eastern Conference Finals, if it's Boston and Cleveland, it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's not going to be an easy series by any stretch. Fat Man Olympics, appreciate you checking back in. Again, we're resetting with the comments as we had the issues early on. Fat Man Olympics, sickening. Celtics building big leads and then just letting it disappear. Celtics getting too many whistles back to back as well. Celtics getting too many whistles back to back as well. Brown got into some foul trouble a little bit. Ended up with 4? Yeah, Brown ended up with 4. Tatum ended up with 4 fouls. Tatum, 46 and 16 rebounds, and assist shy of a triple-double. 46 and 37 from your top 2 players. Pritchard knocked down 2 threes. Cornette back, 19 minutes, 5 rebounds, did not score, at a couple of blocks, had 4 fouls in his 19 minutes. Craig played just 3 minutes. I mean, the starters, White, 41, Tatum, 41, Hauser, 38. And really, it does show you that you do need this team to be intact. So Drew Holiday continues. Missed time before the All-Star break. Thought, okay, let's see if this is back. I believe it was his hand injury, not his shoulder, but a hand injury on the injury report going into Friday's game against the Cavaliers. Porzingis still dealing with an illness. So it's not an injury, but it's an illness. Jay Ravia, I believe. I hope I got that right. Checking in. Jay, I believe you're a first-timer. Welcome aboard. Tip of the cap. Thank you very much. Celtics continue to have one-dimensional offense. Give it to Tatum. Switch for a mismatch. Watch Tatum launch a prayer. He hits many of them, especially early. But where is he in crunch time? Bricks. It's been a couple of games this year where Tatum has been terrific through 3 quarters. And then, there was a game or 2 in there where he didn't have a field goal attempt in fourth quarter action. Now, adjustments made by the opposition. But come on, you're having a special night. You go for 46. You have 30 through 3. Or 30 at the half, pardon me. And you had 40 through 3 quarters. That's got to be a 50 spot. I'm not putting it all on Jason Tatum, but that's just, you can look at the box score and say, okay, 46. Mitchell just kept going. I mean, Mitchell, his buildup was slow. Again, 3 points in the first quarter. Tatum had a huge first quarter. The Celtics had a huge first quarter. But the bench, a big part of what Cleveland did. Yeah, their starters are terrific, but their bench guys, they did a terrific job. Atkinson, and one of the comments on the ESPN post was Kenny Atkinson had a great game as the head coach on the sidelines. Flying V Guy 68. What is Hauser's plus minus and Celtics losses versus other players on the Celtics? If you're looking overall, I don't have that. I can work on getting that. Wow, there's a bad one. Ooh, there's a real bad plus minus. Now, Hauser was a plus 18 overall. But how about these two? I mean, again, you want to talk about bench. This is numbers of the night. I look at plus minus when the numbers are just way off the chart. Plus minus 4 or 5, that's not telling me a whole lot. Peyton Pritchard was a minus 36. Luke Cornett was a minus 26. I don't know that that's happened this year. I can't imagine that happened this year. Flying V Guy 68, I will try to have Hauser's number on that for Sunday. I think I can find it on the NBA stats pages or one of them. Fat Man Olympics again. Also, when Derek White went down, was scary. Yeah, it was. We'll see how that affects him for upcoming games. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to hit more of your comments coming up. Segment number 2, numbers of the night coming up. Segment number 3, and we'll go in deeper into the box score. But Peyton Pritchard, a minus 36? That speaks volumes. That's where the plus minus, you can look at that and say, yeah, okay, bad night. Bad night for the Celtics. Wow. Hey, I didn't think they were going to blow this team out by 20. But the Celtics, I mean, come on. Up by 12 after 1, up by 10, and had the lead going to the fourth quarter. So with the loss, the Celtics have now lost 2 in a row for the second time this season. Go 2-2 against the Cavaliers. Both teams winning, 1 at home, 1 on the road. And the Celtics are now 48 and 12 through 60 this year, last year, 42 and 18 through 60 games this season. And hey, kiss the Eastern Conference goodbye. I was glass half full, and I believe that they could have gotten back into the race for the top spot in the East right now. Again, this is not an easy homestand. You can't think this team's going 6-1 now. I mean, right now you're looking at this homestand, and you'll say at the end of it, hey, 5-2, take it and run with it. 4-3 is going to be an ouch. And you got the Knicks sort of still breathing down your neck as well. Look more into that box score as we touched on, as we continue right here. Locked On Celtics postcast. Tough loss, brutal loss for the Celtics at home against the top team in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And our latest Locked On Celtics postcast presented by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I wonder what the in-game first quarter bets were like for the Celtics and Cavaliers. And if you took, all of a sudden you took the Cavaliers in that first quarter saying, hey, they're going to come back and win this game, you might have cleaned up just a little bit. Hey, with FanDuel, you're going to love the live betting feature, as I was just alluding to, because it's going to keep you in every moment of the game. Whether you are backing your own team late in a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch 3, you are never going to feel like you miss out on your chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets if you win on your first $5 bet. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Tough one in Boston on a Friday night. Crowd into it in the first half. You got off to the great start and just an absolute egg the rest of the way. And Cleveland, got down to the nitty-gritty in the fourth quarter, giving up just 18 points and 42 points total. 18 points for the Celtics in the fourth quarter. 42 points in the second half against the Cavaliers when you scored 38 in the first quarter, 36 in the second quarter. You needed to play a full 48 minutes. That's what that shows. And again, you're going to come up to the playoffs, and you got a chance. What I worry about right now is if you're up, 3-0, 3-1 in a first or second round series, and you'll certainly take that. But all of a sudden, if you can't close out a series early, I always think that's beneficial for a team. So in the fourth quarter, the Celtics actually led by 5. That was early on. But once they got it to 114, did not lead again, lose 123-116. 98 points through 3 quarters, and then 18 points in the fourth quarter. Yes, it's Cleveland's defense, but the Celtics also let's look at a couple of numbers here. 7 of 20, I mentioned that, and 4 assists on the 7 baskets. But you 35%, 1 of 5 on the 3. The only 3 that was made in the fourth quarter was by Brown. But minus 36, that might be the biggest number of the night for the Celtics. You're minus 36 for Peyton Pritchard off the bench. I'm not putting it in Peyton Pritchard's lap either. But, man, some certain things just kind of stick out. Celtics had 14 offensive rebounds, same number as the Cavaliers. But Cleveland 40. I just keep looking at this box score saying 46 points for Tatum and 37 for Brown. It's the first time that's happened this season. They just don't get it done. I want to go back to Fat Man Olympics with Derek White. Yeah, that was scary. And they took some time for him to sort of regroup there before he was able to come back in. They showed it a couple of times. I don't know that it'll be on, we'll see in the next 24 hours. And it's sort of a quick turnaround because you've got an afternoon game on Sunday. So Denver also in action as well. But again, the way things played out, Denver goes into Detroit, and the Nuggets beat up on the Pistons 134-119, ending their win streak. And in that game, you're going to get Jokic. Jokic is going to be back. Jokic, triple-double, 23, 17, and 15. They had 4 starters with 20 or more, and Murray knocked down 5 threes and scored 31. Denver's not a team that you want to see Sunday after losing to the Cavaliers on Friday, and a game where you extended your starters. You're always whining 4-3, 6-7. If they meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, definitely will be a close series. You're always whining 4-3, 6-7. Hey, I give kudos to a couple of names that we have here. You're always whining 4-3, 6-7. I don't know where you came up with that. There's got to be a story aligned with that. That's outstanding. It's like you're in my household. You're always whining. Directed at me from 2 sons and a wife. Yeah. If this sets up for the Eastern Conference Finals, you'll take it. But it's not going to be hot knife through butter for either team. There might be a blowout in the series, but I would dare say they're all going to be within a couple of possessions in the final 5 minutes. The Celtics are going to have to figure out not only how to slow down Donovan Mitchell, but try to shut down Donovan Mitchell in the fourth quarter and late in games. He's one of the best closers in the NBA. He really is. So, again, they added a big piece in DeAndre Hunter, and good with his role. Reading different reports, hey, I'm good with what I'm doing. I'm going from Atlanta to Cleveland. That's winning for DeAndre Hunter. Fat Man Olympics, need Porzingis on Sunday. Yeah, and you need. He's coming back from an illness again. This is not an injury. Drew Holiday's starting to concern me a little bit. Really is. But Denver's coming in. Denver's on a roll right now as well. Numbers of the night when we continue. Steve Lennox with you. Locked on Celtics postcast. Talking about the Celtics. I called it brutal, but certainly disappointing loss as well for the Celtics at home against the Cavaliers. They go 2-2 in the regular season. So the Celtics fall at home. Want to remind you, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. We introduced the Locked On Celtics daily newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Celtics newsletter. Also a reminder, Red Sox regular season is going to get underway with high hopes. Game 1 of 162, Thursday, March 27th, right around the corner. Red Sox open up the series first of 4 in Arlington, Texas against the Rangers. Then they're in Baltimore. We're going to have you covered throughout the Major League Baseball season. Same as Locked On Celtics postcast. We'll go live with the Locked On Celtics postcast, or Locked On Red Sox postcast within minutes of the final out of each game throughout the regular season, both part of Locked On Sports Boston. All right, I've given a lot of numbers of the night. See you soon as, hey, fingers crossed, you see the I can't imagine you're with us, Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Can you come up with a better Eastern Conference Finals than Cleveland and Boston? You can't, right? I mean, this is what it should be, 1 versus 2. And right now, I'm not iffy. But are the Celtics really, at the end of Sunday's game, be on their first 3-game losing streak of the season? I don't know. I mean, Denver's going to be tough. Nuggets are going to come in with something to prove. Celtics already have a victory on the season. And we'll take a look ahead in just a moment on that as well. But the Celtics, again, falling at home. Each team knocking down 17 threes in the game. Celtics on their second 2-game losing streak of the season. And just 10 threes through the final 3 quarters of the game. Mentioned through 60, 48-12 a year ago. This year, not quite there, 42-18. So last year, 48 wins. And with the victory for the Cavaliers, they pick up another game on the Celtics for the top spot in the Eastern Conference, and they pick up their 49th win on the season overall. They've been outstanding. I really thought, I mean, they've had one little bump in the road. But overall, they've been very consistent. And I thought the Celtics were going to, their last loss was against Boston. That's how well they're playing right now. I think Mike Breen had mentioned it, 3+ weeks since their last loss, and that was against the Celtics. Remember, they opened up on the long win streak to start the season. The Celtics won the first meeting, ending that long win streak. What was it? That was a terrific start for them, and they're right there. And they leave Boston understanding we got a real opportunity here. I mean, I don't want to say they'd waste the regular season. The Knicks win 114-113 in Memphis over the Grizzlies. So, and looking at the standings, again, I'm not looking at the Eastern Conference number 1 seed right now because it's just not realistic. But right now, you lose at home to Cleveland after you jumped out to a 25-2 start, and the Knicks win a tough one on the road to improve to 39-20. Right now, your lead is just 2.5 games over New York. That's tight. Because remember, Celtics have owned the Knicks, and you have to continue to win. You have to be the number 2 seed. You have to have home court in the second round against New York if it's going to be Cleveland, Boston, New York. I'm not worried so much about the Knicks. And after Sunday, the Celtics have Monday and Tuesday off. They've got the Blazers, Sixers back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday next week. Then they've got the Lakers, Jazz, and Thunder. This is a 7-game homestand. You've started it off with a loss. Right now, forget 6-1. You're not running the table the rest of the way. And you're really grasping if you're going to say this is a 5-2 homestand. I don't know that that's realistic right now for the Celtics. 4-3? I kind of feel like I'd sign up for that right now. But there are going to be some games here. Think about the home games they've lost in the final 5 minutes so far in the regular season. Go back to Sacramento. There have been a handful there. There really have been. So we're going to be on with you. We're going to cut a little short here tonight. Appreciate the comments as always. 22 left. 22 games left in the regular season for the Celtics. As always, we do appreciate you for jumping on board with us. I do apologize for the initial technical difficulties that we had, but back with you on Sunday. Tip of the cap as well. Acknowledge our sponsor, FanDuel. By supporting our sponsors like FanDuel, you are supporting us with Locked On as well. We do thank you for making Locked On Celtics with John Krause and the Locked On Celtics Postcast your first listen every day. Podcast free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And also, we go live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel within minutes of the final buzzer of each Celtics game the rest of the way. Next up, the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets come to town, and they're coming off the victory against the Pistons Friday night in Detroit. Celtics beat the Nuggets in Denver. That matchup in Denver back in early January, winning 118-106. In that game, Nuggets without Nikola Jokic, without Aaron Gordon. Denver did lose to Milwaukee on Thursday. They avoid a second straight loss by beating the Pistons Friday night. And, hey, right now they're now 11-2 over their last 13 games. Try to enjoy some of your weekend. Celtics certainly did not get it off to a great start on Friday night. We know that. But hopefully KP is back, Drew Holiday as well. And, yeah, the Celtics are going to need to be as close to intact with looking like Denver is right there right now as they close out their regular season as well. Hey, still a month plus in the regular season as the calendar now turns to March. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your Celtics every day. Enjoy your Saturday, everybody.